Hey everyone, welcome to my latest delivery shift. This is a Wednesday lunchtime here in Sheffield. Thought I'd do something a little bit different today, as I've been doing this now for a few years. Thought time as a nice little summary to hand out some annual, this is the first time I've ever done this, annual awards, my own personal delivery awards. Let's call them the Deliveries, in the spirit of the Emmys and the Tonys and various other awards with E's at the end. Makes sense to call them the Deliveries. So these are my own personal set of awards, but would be delighted to hear your own versions of these or your own nominations for any of these as we go along. Now, some of these are positive awards, some of them less so, but I hope you find it enjoyable. I will intersperse this with deliveries as well, though, so you can use the sort of the chapter markers to jump to the various awards as we go through. All right, so let's start with my first award, and this is the Is Anyone There award. This is the award for the restaurant, supermarket, takeaway who are most difficult to get the attention of, or who seem most reluctant to help delivery riders and drivers. And the winner for this is, drumroll please, of course it's McDonald's. In fact, I feel that, someone would have to put in a damn good showing to beat McDonald's in this category. Now, I'm not as down on McDonald's as a lot of people are in terms of not wanting to deliver from them, and there's a lot to be annoyed about them, but the one thing I will say about them is that trying to get their attention when you're in there is bloody impossible. You can sort of shout at them, you can wave, you can say, hey, and frequently they will even just sort of look at you, catch your eye, and then sort of turn away and walk in the opposite direction, as if to say, I'm not dealing with you. And you kind of think, are they going off to tell someone, the person who should be dealing with it? No, they're just saying, I don't get paid enough for this, I am off. And you'll have multiple people just kind of looking at you, vaguely looking your direction, noticing that you're there, and then just going, I'm not going to help. I don't think McDonald's are particularly slow. I think they're reasonably quick at getting stuff out, but the people there do not want to help you. So, congratulations, McDonald's. Like I said, would have to be a strong showing next year for anyone to overtake them in this department. Well, if anyone's got any other nominations for this, I'd be delighted to hear it. Hi there, is it 9305 you got there? Okay, cheers, thanks a lot, I'll grab them. There you go, buddy, that's your first one. Like your second one. There you go. Have you got your code? 36. 36, thank you so much, have a great day. Bye. So the next award is what I'd call the Bros Being Bros Award, or the We're All In This Together Award. This is for any restaurant, specifically the people who work in a restaurant or takeaway, who've given me, a little gift, something to drink, something to eat while I'm waiting, particularly if it's a long wait or it's hot or cold or whatever. Now, this doesn't happen very often. It'd be nice if it happened more. I understand they can't just give away free stuff all the time, but there are 3 places I would like to just give a bit of a shout out to here in Sheffield. I'd urge you to frequent them if you can. First one is a place in Hillsborough called, I think it's called Dinemore. It's just a sort of a takeaway there. Guy was really nice. Had quite a long wait there, and he gave me something to eat and a drink. There's a Lebanese restaurant in Hillsborough I think it's called Fawaz. Again, super kind guy, works there. Again, got quite a long way. He's very apologetic, but gave me sort of a drink and gave me some sweets and things like that while we were waiting. Again, really, really decent chap. And the last one was Papa John's in Ecclesall in Sheffield. Again, really nice guy there. Gave me some water when it was really, really hot. I had quite a bit of a wait, so shout out to him as well. So, really would like to just tip my hat to them. Encourage any takeaway staff or restaurant staff to, you know, treat your delivery riders with kindness. I know it's difficult. I know sometimes it's very easy to see them as the enemy, but they're really not. They're not, you know, they don't work for Uber Eats or Deliveroo in any meaningful sense. We're just sort of subcontractors. We're just trying to make a buck. We're not personally trying to rip off the takeaway or the restaurant. I don't know if I can just nip in here. Probably can. Alright, my dear. Is that heavier? Is it heavier? Thank you. Oh, yeah. Alright, let's get off to this order. And let's move on to our next award. And this is the You Cannot Be Serious award. This is for the most ridiculous request from a customer, and again, bit of an outright winner here. Obviously, I can't name any customers' names. I can't remember the name of this customer, but this was one who wanted me to drive 40 miles to Manchester to deliver their order. I was delivering here in Sheffield. It was to like a student accommodation, and clearly he'd gone home to Manchester, but forgot to change his address in the Uber Eats app or whatever. And then when I got there, I contacted him because he wasn't answering, and we were chatting on the chat, and he was like, "Oh, I put the wrong address in," and he's like, "What can I do?" I said, "Well, you know," I told him you can contact perhaps Uber Eats and try and get a refund or something. And he then suggested that whether it would be possible for me to drive to Manchester to his address to deliver it, to which I politely declined. You know, he wasn't being ironic. There was no smiley face or anything or winky face. It was absolutely honest. He was like, "How long would it take?" and asking various questions like that. And it would take probably about an hour and a half, and not sure that warranted for a McDonald's breakfast. So it would take me down one of the most dangerous bloody roads in the UK, which is a place called Snake Pass, where you have to kind of wind through these country roads. So yeah, so that, you know, standout example of a customer making a ridiculous request. I've had a few customers kind of ask me to deliver to a different address, and often sometimes promise a tip if you do. And I had one I did drive, you know, quite a way across Sheffield to deliver because they were in a really different part, and promised a tip, never gave it to me. So this kind of tip baiting is quite common, but never had someone ask me to, apart from that one who wanted me to ride 45 miles or whatever to Manchester to deliver their order. Let me know in the comments what's the most kind of ridiculous customer request that you've had.
Yes.
Great, perfect.
Very silent.
It's electric, so yeah, I have to be careful. I nearly run over a few people because they don't hear it coming. There you go. Bit heavy, careful. Cheers. I don't need a code from you, do I? No, it's great. Cool. Cheers, mate. Have a good one. Well, my next award is the I think I can see what you're up to this evening award, and this is where for the customer whose order told me exactly what they're going to be doing that evening. And there's one clear winner for this one, and this was the customer who ordered 3 items, which was a can of Red Bull, a packet of condoms, and a tub of Ben & Jerry's ice cream. So I could kind of see their whole evening mapped out in those 3 items, and probably the order in which they're going to use them as well. I also once delivered 1 pack of black masking tape. Drove quite a long way across Sheffield to deliver just this 1 roll of black masking tape. I was convinced that it was sort of a murderer who needed to sort of quickly, you know, get rid of a body or something, but turns out it was a couple of kids, I think, doing a school project, but I don't know. Cheers. Hi there. You got... Is it that one? Yeah. Thank you. Well, my next award is the... Well, there are two awards here. This is the How Much Award. And there's kind of a positive and a negative one. There's a How Much Are You Taking the Piss offering that as an order from one of the apps. And then there's the, ooh, how much? That's pretty good. Well, inevitably the How Much Are You Taking the Piss award goes to Ubereats for their... Well, I mean, they've given many terrible orders over the years, but the one that, you know, particularly stuck in my mind, I think, was an order for, I think, £6, which was asking me to go 12 miles. So it's 50p per mile. And it was asking me to basically travel to a different city, which was to go from Sheffield to Rotherham, travelling along a very fast dual carriageway as well, which this bike is really not equipped for. So yeah, nice one from Uber Eats there. And the kind of positive how much I'm going to give to Deliveroo for their... I once got, I think it was an £11 order, and I only had to go 2 miles for that, and that was rather fantastic, but also incredibly rare as well. I mean, if we had those all the time, we would be quids in, but there we go. I'm not sure if there was some like super promotion on at that time, or they'd struggled to find someone for the order, but that was fantastic. All right, let's move on now to the prestigious You're Not From Round Here Boy Award. And this is for the restaurant, takeaway, supermarket that makes delivery drivers feel most unwelcome. You know, the ones who kind of sneer at you when you're there, or make you pick up the food, you know, by the rubbish bins at the back of the restaurant. Now, a surprise winner in this category, I know many people might think this would be McDonald's, but I don't actually think, apart from the surliness of some of the staff in McDonald's, that they generally treat them badly. No, the winner for this, drum roll, is Nando's. And I don't know if other people have had the same experience, but certainly the Nando's here in Sheffield seem deeply sort of reluctant to have delivery drivers anywhere near their restaurant. I go to 3 of them on a fairly regular basis, and one of them basically forces you to pick stuff up by the rubbish bins at the back of the restaurant. One has kind of a separate window which it pushes you towards, and another literally just says, don't come in the restaurant, just stand outside the restaurant and we'll come to you and we'll give you the food. So the actual people who work in Nando's are normally quite nice, but I think Nando's themselves really think that delivery drivers bring down the ambience or something in the restaurant, so they do whatever they can to stop them coming anywhere near the inside of it. So yeah, Nando's, sort it out. Again, we are not the enemy. All right, next up in the Delivery Awards is the Warm the Cockles of My Heart Award. This is a sort of a sweet one. This is something that always makes me feel sort of warm inside when it happens, and it's happened a few times. I really like it when you deliver to an old person, like an old granny type or an old granddad type, and you get to the door. I quite like the fact that they've worked out how to use Uber Eats or Deliveroo for a start. But then you get there, and then they do that thing where they've got like a tip in their hand, and they kind of put it in your hand and fold your fingers over it. It just reminds me of being a kid and my gran doing that and giving me 50p to go down and buy some sweets from the shop. I just love it when old ladies do that to me. Makes me feel I'm sort of 5 years old again. Right, my dear, have you got that one? Is that it, yeah? Thank you so much. Is it Jasmine?
Yes.
There we go. Have you got it? Oh, have you got your code?
Yes, 38.
38. Thank you. Have a great day. Can I take that? That one, yeah. Cheers. All right, let's get off to this one. It's 3.5 miles. That'll give me a bit of time to go over the last 2 awards. The next delivery award is what I'm calling the Punderdome Award, which is for the shop or takeaway with the best pun I've seen so far. I'm a huge fan of the fish and chip shop in Sheffield, which is called New Cod on the Block. Honourable mention goes to the sort of mini burger chain in Sheffield called Slap and Pickle as well. Quite fond of that one as well. But New Cod on the Block, yeah, it appeals to the kind of 80s, 90s kid in me. All right, let's move on to my final award. And this award is the I Think We Should Be Leaving award. And this is for the weirdest, creepiest or scariest incident that I've had when delivering food to people. I'm sure, like lots of drivers, you know, you have come across people in various different situations, states of consciousness, unconsciousness. Most of the time it's fine. Most of the time the people you're dealing with are very, very nice. I think the only time I really felt that, oh, you know, I don't think I should be here much longer was, bizarrely, it was a morning delivery. It was about 11 o'clock in the morning, and I was delivering a case of beer to someone. There was like a pack of like 10 beers to someone, which is not unusual, but hey, it was 11 o'clock in the morning. When I got there, it was like an apartment or block of flats. I was sort of outside the door of the customer, and I could hear them really shouting at each other, lots of like effing and blinding, and clearly they were very, very angry with each other. So I sort of knocked on the door tentatively. The woman came out sort of in a nightgown, looking sort of very wild-eyed, and was really very, very drunk, let's be honest with you. I could hear her husband, boyfriend shouting at her from inside the apartment, "Who the fucking hell is this?" And, you know, blah, blah, blah. And she was shouting back, "Shut the up," and all that kind of stuff. I was like, oh, okay. And I knew I was going to have to ask her for her ID, which I was very much not wanting to do given the circumstances. But I said to her, "Do you have any kind of identification for the beer?" And she's kind of looking at me all foggy-eyed, and then she's like, "No." And then she started shouting back at her husband partner, like, "Do you have any effing ID?" And he was like, "Oh, effing, why do we effing need ID? We never normally effing need ID." And just this really big shouting match, and I just thought, yeah, you know what, just take the beer, screw the ID, I'm off. Because I could see it getting quite nasty if because he was getting increasingly irate with what was going on. Is this for you, mate? This from Nam Song, yeah? Nam Song, the Vietnamese place.
The gate's not working inside.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure which place it was, but
No, you got it right.
I might be able to hand it through possibly if there's space. Let's see how thin this is. Oh, I don't know. Might struggle actually.
It's not over. Oh, it's 75 anyway, your number.
75, yeah. I might be careful with this because it's
It's on me then.
there's soup in that.
I've got
You got it. 75, you say, yeah? Cheers, buddy. Have a good one. All right. Well, I think that's it for my delivery awards. Hope some of it kind of hit home with you, particularly if you're a delivery driver. And if you've got any of your own awards or got any sort of different nominations for any of those categories, do let us know in the comments. It'd be fascinating to hear. I think, you know, places are different from city to city, so what might be a decent restaurant in one place might be a bit of a crap in another. So, but whatever day it is, whatever you're doing, hope you have a good one. Do give it a like if you found any of this vaguely enjoyable. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.